Hey guys, tonight we are diving deep into the dense canopy of the Maya world, where the trees stretch so high they blot out the sky itself. Imagine being one with the vibrant and mysterious jungle where electricity and GPS are just future fantasies. Instead, your path is lit by the whispers of your ancestors, guiding you through the rhythms of the earth and stars. But let's be real, navigating through this verdant labyrinth without modern conveniences, you probably won't survive this without some serious star navigation skills or help from your ancestral spirit guides. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Also, I'd love to know where you're tuning in from and what time it is, so post your location and local time in the comments below. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You find yourself standing at the edge of a village surrounded by the vibrant hum of life. The cicada's serenade is interwoven with the distant calls of howler monkeys, their roars a reminder of the wild world that encircles this pocket of human existence. It is early morning and the warm sun filters through the dense foliage above, casting dappled shadows on the ground. Around you, your fellow villagers begin their day. Men prepare for the hunt, sharpening obsidian blades and adjusting their woven tunics. Women gather at the central hearth, kneeling on the hard-packed earth as they grind maize on stone metats, the rhythmic sound both familiar and reassuring. The fresh scent of masa mingles with the smoke from cooking fires, creating an aroma that speaks of home. You are tasked with foraging today, a vital chore in your community's daily cycle. The jungle, while bountiful, is an enigmatic puzzle of edible and toxic flora. But you are not alone. Your ancestors walk with you, and their knowledge is your map. The elders often recount how hundreds of years ago, vast cities thrived here, supported by the agricultural prowess of your people. Towering pyramids and sprawling plazas now lie hidden beneath the creeping jungle. Their stones bear witness to a history that others can only dream of. Historians are still piecing together the mysteries of why these grand cities were abandoned. Was it warfare, drought, or perhaps something less insidious, yet equally powerful, like the shift of trade routes? Some theorize that overpopulation and environmental degradation played roles we still don't fully understand. As you step into the woodland, the air cools and the light dims. You recall the tales of your ancestors, who devised sophisticated systems for tracking celestial bodies to predict solar and lunar eclipses with remarkable accuracy. Such cosmic events, they believed, held great importance for agriculture and the timing of spiritual ceremonies. Your task unfolds amidst this cacophony of historical echoes. You remember that some plants are still used today, like the bark of the copal tree, which is burned in rituals to carry prayers up to the deities above. You reach for a plant with broad leaves and pale flowers, jicama, perfect for sustenance and refreshment in the humidity. The jungle is full of secrets and surprises. You pause, hearing a gentle rustle, and spot a small, vividly colored bird perched on a nearby branch. It is a resplendent quetzal, its feathers shimmering like emeralds. To the Maya, this bird is sacred, symbolizing freedom and the gods' favor. You stand still, breath held, hoping for the luck of having the bird's bright plumage bestow fortune upon you this day. Your ancestral memory also reminds you of moments from history, such as when your forebears gazed up at the same quetzals, drawing inspiration from their beauty for the art and sculptures that adorned city temples. How did they live, dance, and love under this same sky? You bend to gather a few ripe cacao pods, the seeds within which are prized in trade, often exchanged as currency or made into a frothy, spicy beverage reserved for ceremonies and chiefs. You've heard stories of how chocolate was once worth its weight in gold. As the sun ascends further into the sky, the forest becomes a lively place not just of plants and animals, but of the sounds that accompany them. A deep throbbing toad's call, a gentle breeze, rustling through giant ferns, and far off another village's distant drum beat like a heartbeat echoed through the ages. Returning to the village with your gathered treasures, you pass by the stone remnants of a once majestic temple facade. It's partially covered in moss, with only the edges of carvings, visible faces of ancient gods, half seen speaking of lost times, when these deities were worshipped with lavish rituals under the very canopy that now protects their secrets. The day wanes into the afternoon, and there's a sense of calm contentment. The energy of the morning subsides as you and your fellow villagers prepare for the evening meal. The warmth of the fire and the comfort of your people's presence create an atmosphere where the past and present intermingle endlessly, just like the stars that will soon peek through the thinning canopy, whispering yet more stories of your shared history. As you find yourself standing at the edge of a sinkhole, the air is warm and heavy with the anticipation of discovery. The jagged limestone edges contrast sharply with the dense foliage surrounding you. These natural formations are known as cenotes. And in a place like this, you're likely gazing into what seems like an abyss that dips into mysterious depths of the earth. It's as if you're staring at a secret that of life water and ancient stories woven into the rock walls. Each step you take echoes softly the gentle crunch of leaves underfoot, harmonizing with the quiet rustle of wind through the trees. You've heard tales of such places being sacred to ancient civilizations. The Maya believed cenotes were entrances to the underworld. Looking down into the stillness of the water below, you can't help but understand why. Historians still debate whether such sinkholes were used primarily for ritual or simply as precious water sources, but standing here, their ancient allure can't be denied. Your goal is to learn how to find fresh water in this natural well. In the past, these formations made survival possible in the arid climates where surface water was scarce. Imagine ancient peoples using these sites not just for sustenance, but as a link between the physical and spiritual worlds. Glancing around, you notice marks on rocks, subtle signs of tools and pots long forgotten. The silence seems to speak of lessons yet to be learned, and secrets whispered to those brave or wise enough to listen. To reach the water, you recall, there's often a series of steps or a carved path leading down, crafted by those who came before you, or perhaps by nature herself. It might be slippery, so caution guides your tentative descent. Each step feels like moving through time, past a tapestry of life stories spun across centuries. Unexpectedly, the air cools further as you descend another testament to the underground world you are entering. Once at the water's edge, you lean over carefully, testing your reflection on the surface. The water is startlingly clear, revealing hints of fish darting through the crystalline depths. Cenotes, you may realize sometimes, connect to an extensive network of underground rivers and caves, a few even stretching for miles beneath the land. Perhaps this is one of the surprising intricacies of the natural world, the interconnectedness hidden beneath our feet, reminding you that there's a vast unseen world that thrives without sunlight. There's an academic uncertainty about how many Mayan rites took place here versus daily water retrieval. Nonetheless, your mission is clear: to find fresh water you can drink. Historically, these cenotes provided not just for the communities, but became economic heartbeats gathering people together. You take a cautious sip, tasting the pure mineral-rich water. It's fresh and clean, a stark contrast to the toil the journey might have brought upon you. People long ago must have appreciated this liquid oasis as much as you do now. Beyond the physical relief, there's a spiritual refreshment too, quenching the soul as well as the body. Time drifts as you sit by the water, watching the world from within this serene shadow domain. A small cave extends to your left, its entrance half hidden by cascading vines, hinting at further mysteries below. You wonder if there are caverns, housing the whispers of the past pools, echoing with the laughter of children, or the quiet murmurs of rituals long since silenced. Everything here feels like part of a larger story, interwoven in the dance of life and lore. As you return to the path upwards, each step feels lighter, buoyed by the knowledge gained and the refreshing waters tasted. The steps seem to carry you rather than the other way around, buoyed by secrets shared and understandings gathered. You imagine returning someday with tales of sinkholes and secret worlds, told like a spell, cast in the night, bringing listeners closer to the earth's ancient heartbeats and stories in stone and water. The world above seems a touch brighter as you emerge again into sunlight, the trees whispering around you, a familiar welcome that feels just as ancient as the sacred water below. The subtle interconnectedness you've felt throughout your journey here speaks of a planet deeply layered with stories, a palimpsest of human and natural history. Every journey ends with a return, and this one leaves you pondering the lingering potential of waterstone and time, an ever-present source of life, concealed in simple rocks, but profound in what it bestows upon those who seek it out. As you make your way deeper into the lush, sprawling canopy of the jungle, the moist earth gives slightly under your feet. It's quiet here in a way that's full of whispers, leaves rustling in the soft breeze, distant calls of unfamiliar birds, and the lazy buzz of insects going about their lives. You pause for a moment, letting the atmosphere seep into your senses. Your journey takes you winding through the tangled vines and towering trees until you reach a grove that almost seems to hum with life. Here the air is thick with the sweet, heady scent of wild cacao. You've learned to spot them, low-hanging pods that bulge with promise. They hide in plain sight, a perfect disguise against the leafy background. Inside these pods lie the seeds that, when roasted and ground, transform into that familiar indulgence, chocolate. But tonight the story is about survival, not luxury. The fresh cacao pulp is tart, with a hint of floral sweetness sustaining your body, just as it fuels your curiosity about the world around you. As you sit munching on the fruit, the canopy shuffles and parts, slightly showing glimpses of the sky. The cacao tree, like a sentinel, reminds you of something many might not know. Its beans were once used as currency by the ancient Maya. A far cry from the romanticized bars, we know today these were coins of necessity, traded for goods and services in a world long past but not forgotten. And yet, historians still debate whether the beans were more valued in their tangible form or as a bitter beverage reserved for the elite. Nearby, you catch sight of bright flashes of color, sour fruits hanging low, dotting the green with their vibrant yellows and pinks. These are the true gifts of the jungle, more reliable than gold in the cacophony of nature. A gentle squeeze confirms their ripeness, their skins yielding like soft leather. Tart, they explode on your tongue with a tangy punch that renews your spirit in this humid adventure. You chew thoughtfully, recalling a time when explorers spoke of distant lands filled with treasures of flavor, much like these. Sour, sweet, and surprising zest embodied a taste that's the antithesis of the muggy air around you. It's as if each bite is a burst of sun cutting through the thick canopy shade. The ants' tiny black shadows in constant motion over the earth seem to notice you too. Edible ants, a source of protein, skitter across the ground in intricate, unending lines, like soldiers on a march. Known for their tangy taste, they provide something rare, a hint of tangy lime on an otherwise muted palate. Indigenous communities throughout history have tapped into this resource, a symbiotic relationship forged with nature's smallest creatures. You can't help but admire their audacity, their resilience. In many cultures, ants are not just food, but a testament to the creativity needed to thrive where others might falter. It's said that the right kind of ant can offer you more than just a meal. It can enrich your soul with vibrancy, a testament to wit in the wild. As the light begins to dim, casting long shadows between the ferns and the cacao trees, you find a quiet rhythm in this routine. The subtle challenge of foraging for dinner each day grounds you in a space that feels eternal, timeless. Here, bathed in the nighttime sounds, you can almost feel your ancestors foraging alongside you, their wisdom shared in the patterns of growth around you. The jungle seems to know you now, wrapping around your presence with comforting familiarity. Each leaf whispers stories passed through generations, and you are but the latest listener in a line millennia long. As you prepare to rest beneath the thatched roof of leaves you've assembled for yourself, the jungle around you settles too. The symphony of night, a chorus of crickets, the soft chorus of a distant river, lulls you deeper into comfort. Is it the diet of cacao fruit and ants keeping you here? Or is it the story they tell? A story where survival means finding joy in the smallest wonders, the quiet resilience in every mouthful. It's the oldest hymn, the song of life itself, entrusting you with its secrets as shadows dance and stars prick the sky, you're only witnesses in the hush of this ancient place. You step gently into a world that isn't quite like your own. The air is warm with a subtle hint of mystery. The leaves rustle softly in the night breeze, whispering stories of ancient wisdom that's carefully held in the rich soil beneath your feet. The moonlight scatters across the forest floor, guiding your footsteps between towering trees that have been growing for generations. This isn't just a forest, it's a thriving tapestry of life. Beneath these trees, stories unfold of a time-honored way of growing food that has sustained communities for centuries. You walk gently into this world where crops and trees coexist in a dance of nature and nurture. This is the Milpa system, a symphony of sustainability where you cultivate the land without stripping it bare. You might think, how could growing crops among towering giants like trees possibly work? Wouldn't it be easier just to clear everything away? But like stepping into a haunted house without a flashlight stripping the forest bare can lead to surprises you'd rather avoid. With each step you take, you can almost feel the centuries of harmony beneath your feet. The soil, rich and alive, pulses with the promise of hearty yields and healthy ecosystems. In a world that's often in a rush to get from point A to point B as quickly as possible, the Milpa system invites you to consider a slower, less invasive journey, one where the destination is not reached through conquest, but through cooperation. This might be the place where you'd pause for a moment to reflect, maybe even consider the unimaginable dread of surviving without modern technology's conveniences. Yet here you are standing in a forest that continues to thrive while providing sustenance, a gentle reminder that not all solutions require bulldozers or fences. Historians who wander through tales of old often marvel at how this system came to be. Was it a stroke of genius in ancient agriculture, or merely a necessary adaptation to challenging environments they still debate? What they agree on, however, is that Milpa has allowed societies to thrive without depleting their land. A balance that's as elusive as a firefly on a summer night. Stop for a moment, if you would. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. You're part of this story, now walking among trees that breathe life into every breath you take. Wide-trunked giants reach skyward, and between them, the orderly chaos of crops takes root. Corn, beans, and squash flourishing in their immaculately chaotic assembly. These three sisters, as they are fondly called, support one another, much like family. The corn stands tall, offering a stable ladder for bean vines to scale, while squash plants spread across the ground, their broad leaves maintaining soil moisture and shading out weeds. It's ingenious, orchestrated by nature herself. In your mind's eye, imagine the ancestors' hands in the soil, knowing their labor connects them to both past and future. Even as they toiled under the sun, their work was guided by the natural rhythms of the earth and seasons' rhythms that echo through time to brush softly against the modern day. It's a strange sensation, really, to think that such a simple act of working alongside nature rather than against it could lead to such abundance. Stranger still in a world rushing forward where efficiency often means a severance from what sustains us. Yet here in the shade of the milpa's canopy, time moves a little slower, the heartbeat of the land steady and reassuring. Imagine even further back, when the first seeds were planted here among the trees. Perhaps those past farmers wondered if they'd chosen correctly, until the rains came, the trees whispering their song of survival. Ancient maps of survival were unfurled in the patterns of planting you see around you now. Your heart grows calm as you understand that this is not just agriculture. This is history. This is a story of resilience of communities living in harmony with the land. It's about taking what you need and giving back as much in return. The wisdom of the milpa system cradles this simple, beautiful reciprocity. You find yourself walking among echoes, where past and present meet under the soft moon glow. You feel the warmth of countless generations who grew and thrived with trees at their side, and you realize their stories flow quietly, with purpose like the gentle rustle of the leaves that surround you. And just as those leaves rustle off into blissful dreams, the story carries you further into its quiet symphony, where you grow your own roots in the rich narrative of old. In every heartbeat of the forest, there's a rhythmic reassurance that whispers all will be well. As you tread gently, the night softly embraces you, wrapping you in its ageless tale. You walk carefully beneath the tall trees, their canopy filtering the soft glow of the moonlight. Tonight, the forest feels like a living, breathing entity, cradling you in its ancient embrace. The air carries the refreshing scent of pine mingled with earth, and your footsteps quietly crunch on the forest floor, leaving no more than a whisper behind you. Your journey tonight is an adventure into the natural world. You're on a quest, not just for knowledge, but for the secret life flowing through the branches above, and more crucially, for something hidden in plain sight: tree resins, nature's little miracles. Long before modern medicine healers and wise folk turned to these trees for remedies that bordered on magical. You pass a towering pine, its limbs reaching skyward, and remember hearing tales of its resin used to repel flying insects. Imagine the days before insect repellent sprays, when people relied solely on their knowledge of the land to avoid nature's nibblers. And believe it or not, that resin can also soothe those itchy bites if you're not quick enough to escape. Historians still debate whether the earliest human discoveries of these resins were intentional or the result of a happy accident. Perhaps someone leaned against a tree, felt the sticky substance cling to their skin, and in trying to rid themselves of it, noticed its soothing effect on bug bites, or its ability to mend small cuts. You gently scrape some amber-hued resin from the bark, its texture a translucent glaze over the tree's rough skin. As you collect it, you ponder how this small action connects you to people across time. Like the ancient Egyptians who used resins in the mummification process, seeing them as sacred sealing agents that preserved life after death itself. Every tree you encounter seems to have its secret gift. The spruce whose resin can calm irritated skin, or the mighty cedar, known throughout the ages for its fragrant property and natural ability to protect stored manuscripts from insects. It was once arduous work, gathering these gifts from nature, requiring intimate knowledge of the forest's rhythm taught and passed down through generations. You touch the resin you've gathered, surprised by its slightly warm texture despite the cool night air. It's as if the tree shares its spirit, a living force that transcends the material, perhaps linking back to a time when humanity first learned to coexist with its leafy neighbors. This resin, much like the salves of yore, can be molded into simple solutions for everyday problems. A small cut from a sharp twig, or the relentless pursuit of buzzing mosquitoes. As you delve deeper into the forest, it becomes more than just collecting a meditative journey. Around you, the trees whisper, with the night breeze echoing stories of old rites and newfound knowledge. It makes you wonder about the legends that accompanied these practical uses. Did druids once perform complex rituals to honor these trees? How many myths were intertwined with the practical wisdom of their resin's healing touch? You pause, recalling the intriguing yet sometimes inconvenient fact that not all tree resins are alike. Some historians note with curiosity were melted and shaped into incenses used in various cultural rituals, like the solemn processions of the ancient Greeks and Romans. Others, more mysterious in their application, were used as tools for artistic endeavors, like sealing pigment that captured the art and stories of the past. You continue onward your collection, growing with careful applications to your own small wounds and anointing your skin against the forest's flying nuisances. Each application bears a gentle hint of the modern and the ancient mingling in harmonious utility. As pine tar cures minor cuts, you think about the role of tree resins in shipbuilding, a lifeline for sailors who once braved vast uncharted seas, relying on tar to waterproof their vessels. Historians are unsure if the early seafarers fully understood how terpenes in the resin reacted with water, but practical observation made them invaluable. So here you are, standing on the shoulders of those maritime explorers, holding the resin as a testament to their ingenuity. Under the shelter of the sky, where stars peek through the foliage, you inhale deeply and take a moment to absorb this ancient wisdom. In the simple acts of gathering and applying the resins, you partake in a timeless tradition, threading the legacy of humanity's relationship with nature through every moment. The forest resins, these small sticky treasures, remain as ample encouragement to explore further, to deepen your connection with the earth's wisdom as it has been shared across continents and centuries. The crafted balance between the healing powers of trees and your steps shows how profoundly intertwined you are with this world. All the knowledge, all the secrets are there for you to discover in these forest adventures, as soothing as a lullaby. And as you continue your path through the verdant depths, let the serene knowledge that the forest offers its protection guide you gently to your dreams. Just like those maritime adventurers, you carve your course in this living world, connected across time by the simple, profound gifts of the trees. Now let the rhythm of the forest lull you to sleep, the gentle rustling of leaves and the serene bonds with nature, singing a quiet hymn of comfort and rest. Your ears pick up an odd sound, a thread of unfamiliar bird calls, weaving through the thick canopy above. There's something different about this song, a strange high-pitched call that echoes and fades as quickly as it came. It's like the jungle is trying to whisper secrets to you, and as you learn to listen, you realize the Maya people understood these signs better than anyone. Here in this ancient land, survival means tuning in to the natural symphony around you. The Maya knew when the jaguars prowled nearby, not from sight, but from these very soundscapes. A certain warbler's frantic chirp or a monkey's sudden hush would signal the presence of the shadowy predator. The jungle, with its mysteries and rhythms, was like an unending conversation, primarily carried through listening rather than speaking. Long ago, in the bustling centers of Maya civilization like Tikal or Copan, the people's ability to survive depended heavily on their acute awareness of nature's cues. Listening truly, listening was an art form, and one that often meant the difference between life and a sudden silent end. Historians have pieced together an understanding of how the Maya thrived, but there's still much shrouded in mystery. Some aspects of their existence remain as impenetrable as the thick jungle brush. As the wind whispers through the trees, you notice a change. Its light caress becomes a stronger gust, rustling leaves. And you recall how Mayan elders could forecast storms long before they arrived. They felt it in the air, an unseen yet profound shift that spoke louder than thunder itself. Whether it was reading the clouds or observing how the birds huddled together in silence, the Maya decoded these messages like seasoned scholars examining an ancient manuscript. At its zenith, the Maya civilization was a hub of astronomical expertise, deeply connected to the stars and the cycles of the natural world. With their observatories and calendar systems, they tracked celestial events with precision that still amazes modern scholars. Yet surprisingly, it was nature's ground-level cryptic messages like a change in the wind that also guided their lives. Suddenly you realize how much there is to learn merely by observing and listening. Here, amidst this sprawling verdant world, words seem superfluous. The Maya listened because the jungle spoke, and those who tuned in were rewarded with the knowledge necessary for harmony and survival. It's a soothing reminder of the art of living with the earth, not merely upon it. So you let the sounds guide you. Perhaps you hear a raucous flock of parrots taking sudden flight as if disturbed by an unseen presence. The undergrowth rustles with life, and a chorus of frogs starts their nightly concert. Each sound is a thread in the complex tapestry woven by the world around you. In this wild symphony, there's a peculiar serenity. You think of how each generation of Maya passed down the lore of these sounds, how the stories of a night when the howler monkeys cried longer, or when the cicadas hummed at an unusual frequency, would become part of their wisdom. The jungle breathes a story as old as time, where every leaf and creature plays a role in its eternal whispered saga. Perhaps the greatest surprise is how, in this intricate web of life, listening becomes the most profound way of connecting to history. It's a tapestry filled with the unknown, prompting reflection on the whispers of civilizations long past, where even now historians debate the extent of the Maya's understanding of the natural world. As you let yourself be enveloped by the warm embrace of the jungle's night chatter. It's a gentle reminder that sometimes the best stories are the ones you listen to with your heart, not answer with words. And so you find yourself quietly drawn deeper into this world, feeling calmer and more connected, allowing the sounds to carry you off to a world where even in silence, there's a wondrous story waiting to unfold. As the sun reaches its zenith, you find yourself in a dense forest, the kind of place where time seems to stand still. The canopy above you is alive with whispers, as leaves rustle gently swayed by the promises of a soft breeze. It would be a peaceful spot if not for the unsettling reminder that you're supposed to find your way back to camp miles away from here. There's an art to navigating these woods, a skill you've acquired through the many stories told around campfires and in hushed conversations. The key lies in the shadows. At noon they stretch languorously, pointing an unwavering finger towards the north. This ancient trick of using the sun was also displayed by mariners on vast oceans, roaming lands, as the Phoenicians once did. They too understood the whispers of the earth and sky, navigating great expanses with little more than celestial bodies and sturdy masts. Historians still debate whether early explorers always knew where they happened to be, or if sometimes, like you, they just hoped they weren't hopelessly lost. The Romans, for instance, laid a proverbial roadmap thousands of miles long, dotting the empires with milestones. Yet even those indicators faded in time. As you decide on your path, you feel the warmth of sunlight on your face, seeping confidence into your journey. It prickles with an assurance akin to an old friend, despite the indifferent glances of branches above. Nature is your compass, though depending on its ancient guidance, is akin to welcoming a seasoned trickster to tea. Hours pass as you walk your surroundings, shifting subtly from one horizon to another. There's a continuity in the scene, both comforting in its reliability and unnerving in its sameness. The serenity of the forest is punctuated by the calls of unseen birds and the occasional rustle of undergrowth as creatures unseen scurry about their lives. As golden light recedes into twilight and shadows deepen their hold on the land, the sky undergoes its own transformation. Stars begin to puncture through the indigo expanse, tiny pinpricks that gradually transform into the grand constellations. Your trusty Ursa Major seems to greet you like an old companion reappearing after a long absence. And just like that, Orion takes his place, drawing his bow across the heavens as if directing your way home. You take a moment to drink in this sparkling tableau. Ancient Greeks might have looked upon these very stars 1,000 nights ago, weaving myths and legends to explain their inexorable patterns. Some historians find it hard to pinpoint how such celestial tales were both instructive and inspiring. Were they mere entertainment or intricate navigational guides? Perhaps a dance between fact and story, much like your path tonight. The Great Bear spins in the night. The North Star, always dutifully stationary, unfurls its secrets. The steady light is your unwavering guide, much like it was for Vikings so many moons ago. Through trials and unexplored seas, the North Star promised a beacon of hope when all else failed. Tranquility envelops you each step, guided by the quiet assurance of civilizations past. You follow until the sky darkens fully, a blanket, aglow with myriad stories of voyages long concluded. An owl hoots nearby, harmonizing with your faint footsteps, crunching under the detritus of the woods, coming to life only as the world retreats into dreams. There you find a rhythm in your wanderings, like sailors who eventually return home to familiar shores after an odyssey dictated by stars. You ponder the explorers' romantics, their bravery and foolhardiness, all in pursuit of charted lands, etched out on parchment when options seemed boundless. Within these woods, seemingly limitless yet finite, you realize how each grain of sand, leaf, and celestial body plays its part in the universe's grand symphony. By its arrangement, it returns you to your beginnings, just like the explorers before you, trusting the skies and their instincts. Destiny's soft murmur steers you toward camp. These comforting tales weave through history like the constellations stitch the sky, a constant stitch, binding the past with the present. You approach the clearing where smoky tendrils of campfire guide you in the last yards of your journey. As you step into the clearing, illuminated by the gentle glow of flames, you're welcomed by warm embraces and the laughter of friends. You're home. And with that, a soothing peace accompanies your steps to restful slumber. The joys of journeying across history, melding seamlessly into dreams, each adventure a continuation of your wanderlust and reverence for the constellations. As the humid air clings to your skin, you find yourself nestled in the heart of a dense jungle, the canopy above filtering only wisps of the fading sunlight from above. You take a deep breath, inhaling the rich, earthy scent of damp soil and vibrant foliage, feeling a sense of adventure mixed with that slight edge of survival uncertainty. You have heard tales of explorers who, despite their grand expeditions, often faced seemingly simple yet profound challenges, like making a fire in conditions just like this. Now, with dusk creeping closer, you ponder the challenge before you ignite a sustaining flame amid tropical humidity. You crouch beside a collection of dry bamboo, its presence here a remnant of those who walked these paths long before you. As you examine the hard, segmented material, you realize that this ancient plant has served as a dependable ally through centuries of human settlement and exploration. Its fibrous interior is ideal for kindling a flame. Nearby, you've also gathered a few small, sharp shards of flint. You recall the time-tested technique of striking steel against flint to produce sparks, a process that, while seemingly simple, also served as the catalyst for countless historical feats, like expanding trade routes and communicating across wild frontiers. Generations have honed this skill, yet here in this moment, it's just you, the flint, and the bamboo, as if the past reaches through time to test your perseverance and creativity. In an unexpected twist from the depths of your pocket, you retrieve a modest lump of beeswax. A piece of history itself, the Egyptians used this golden substance to preserve mummies. Here, however, this beeswax is the final piece of your improvised fire-starting kit, ready to extend the life of your initial spark into a dancing flame. As you form the beeswax into a small ball, you feel a connection to the resourcefulness ingrained in the survival tactics of all who have lived in such challenging environments. The humid air holds its breath as you strike the flint, casting a shower of sparks through the dimming light. Just as ancient craftsmen needed patience and precision, so do you. With a deft motion, a spark catches the dry bamboo fibers, and you swiftly apply the beeswax to prolong the fragile flare. You watch almost entranced as it slowly grows into a small crackling fire, a beacon of warmth against the encroaching night. Historians still debate whether certain primitive techniques like these were independently discovered across civilizations or taught through early interaction along trade routes. Either way, here your modest flame feels like a binding thread to countless untold stories of survival and ingenuity. With the fire now comforting in its rhythmic crackling, you settle in to enjoy the simple triumph. The forest around you seems to acknowledge your success in maintaining this ancient tradition, with a gentle rustling, as if the trees themselves are applauding. In the heart of the jungle, your thoughts drift back to those explorers who paved their paths with equally humble tools. You think of the Malayan spice merchants or the intrepid Polynesians navigating vast blue oceans, both reliant on their understanding of humankind's oldest element, fire. The flames flicker golden against the growing darkness, inviting you to lose yourself in their dance to ponder the vast continuum of humanity and to connect across time with the primal echoes of discovery and survival. The air around you is filled with the buzzing of life. The vibrant jungle sings its nightly symphony as shadows lengthen and blend, seamless as the woven tales of history themselves. Your journey has led you deeper into the heart of this lush paradise, where nature's embrace feels both wild and tender. The daytime drumming of rain dissipates, leaving a cool, soothing breeze that teases through the thick canopy above. Your eyes catch the intricate beauty of a structure nearby, a curved roof, strong yet gentle in its arc, like a guardian shielding the precious serenity beneath. Crafted from the leaves of the guano palm, this shelter stands as a testament to human ingenuity. Its design cleverly disagrees with the relentless rain, allowing droplets to glide off effortlessly rather than pooling or seeping through. Traditionally, the guano palm, with its resilient properties, has been the go-to for those daring or desperate enough to call the jungle home. Historians whisper among themselves about how communities once thrived here, erecting homes that became part of the natural world rather than mere intrusions upon it. Was it instinct or long-forgotten ancestry that guided hands to fashion such innovative shelters? The answer, it seems, plays hide and seek among the curling vines and rustling leaves. Stepping inside, you immediately feel the air cool, trapped somehow by the clever construction above. This natural air conditioning, likely an unintended but welcome byproduct of design, cradles you in its embrace. Here the sounds of nighttime creatures are muffled, turning from a roaring carnival into a gentle lullaby. Just as the predators and prey outside dance to their timeless rhythms, your senses tune to this unique habitation. Your imagination leaps centuries back, picturing the ingenious ancestors who first realized the qualities of the guano palm. Maybe they sat where you do now, listening to the hum of the forest, nodding in appreciation of this harmonious refuge. Perhaps they pondered the rain's refusal to breach their carefully crafted barrier, just as you do, tracing the gentle curves of the roof with their eyes. And certainly they admired the cool, quiet air that set them at ease as it does you. It's no surprise that the canopy artists, as some called them, became legendary for these shelters. Their understanding of materials, what could withstand, what would give way, was uncanny. Historians still debate the origins of their techniques, questioning whether inspiration sparked from necessity or from observing the natural curvatures around them. Mystery dances at the edges of their narrative, much like the fireflies tracing elegant paths through the humid dusk. Lit by a glowing moon, you run your fingers across the smooth edges of the palm leaves, feeling the wisdom stowed in each fold and frond. It's as if the structure itself breathes in, hailing the damp air and transforming it into a calming coolness. Was this retreat a home for many, or simply a waypoint on longer sojourns deep into history's jungles? The silence, patient and expansive, keeps its secrets. Yawns pull at you the latent rhythm of day into night, drawing you into a slower pace. The jungle shelters, masters of comfort, invites you to relax, to let the stories of old seep into your skin as you drift towards slumber. Their craft was more than functionality. It was a promise, a coaxing reminder of our ability to exist symbiotically with nature when we choose to listen. As your eyelids grow heavier, you find yourself lulled by the slight sway of the leaves overhead, mimicking the ocean's rocking, or perhaps the earth's whispered, turning through time. Here where curved roofs and cool breezes share a friendship that defies the jungle's chaos, you settle into dreamt history where the night's march is gentle and each breath sings of connections across eras, held steady by humble palm leaves. As you wander through the vibrant forests of ancient lands, your senses are enveloped by the earthy scent of damp soil and the tapestry of whispers carried by the wind through towering trees. It's here, amidst the lush greenery, that you kneel beside a stream, its cool water whispering secrets to ancient roots hidden beneath. Your fingers sift through the soil, finding the thick, dark tendrils of black indigo roots, whose secrets have been passed down through generations. You remember how your grandmother's voice trembled with reverence as she spoke of the healing properties of these roots. With a gentle touch, you pull them free, mindful of their power. It's said their bitter decoction can quell fevers and combat infections, a claim whispered through time, yet debated by some who doubt the hand of nature. As the roots leave the earth, the hiss of escaping air reminds you of the significance of this moment. The knowledge handed down orally, a lineage of wisdom as rich as the earth itself. In days gone by, healers, a rare breed much like yourself, journeyed far and wide in search of remedies like these. They faced dangers unseen, from venomous bites to unseen illnesses that threatened to ravage villages. Yet armed with the earthy talismans of nature, they stood defiant. You feel a kinship with those forgotten sages who trusted the roots and barks to forge miracles in a world that demanded faith as much as knowledge. Historians debate whether black indigo first served as a tool for healing or harm, its nomenclature echoing through the scrolls of herbal lore. Yet what remains certain is its potency, entwined with legends of warriors revived from the brink and travelers nourished back to health with tales that edge into myth as the lines blur over centuries. Returning to your dwelling nestled within the heart of the forest, you recall the urgency of preparation. Time is of the essence. Fetching a pot, an heirloom tarnished yet beloved, you fill it with clear stream water and place it over an open flame. You add the roots, their dark hue staining the water with the promise of healing. Warmth spreads from the fire, mingling with the stories of ancestors who persevered. Once the decoction is ready, its bitter aroma swirling like an invisible tapestry, your thoughts drift to those who once sat beside the fire faces, aglow listening to the tales of nature's cures. You sip, feeling the powerful essence working its way through your system, pacifying the unrest within. Your eye catches sight of another treasure from the natural world, the bark a counterpart to the roots, standing ready to offer protection against venomous strikes. You ponder the stories of snake bites, vanquished by such simple means. It was said in hushed whispers under starlit nights that barks like these held dominion over poison turning death away with a single taste. Herbalists of old believed that even the deadliest venom could be tamed if the decoction was potent enough. Yet whether a timely application was sufficient to best nature's most cunning adversaries is a tale still contested. Your faith in these ancient cures is as much about belief as about experience. And so you continued the practice, a bridge between past and present. The sun dips lower, painting the skies in gold and crimson shadows, lengthening across the forest floor. Curled up beside your hearth, you reflect on the intricacies of this knowledge birthright, and burden melded together, passed without parchment or ink. It's a living connection to a way of being where the lines between humanity and nature dissolve. Through the gentle crackle of the fire, the world hums softly around you, a nocturne echoing through the trees. Your heart beats in rhythm with the whispers of the past, and with heavy-lidded eyes, you drift into slumber, knowing the legacy of healing rests safely within your grasp, awaiting another dawn. The gentle rustle of leaves dances through the air as you imagine stepping into a verdant forest, an ancient wildness wrapping around you like a soft cloak. This is where every plant holds a secret, a unique whisper of the past. Their stories are woven with threads of both science and lore, part healing, part enchantment. Can you feel the subtle magic in the air? Your skin tingles with anticipation as you realize the path ahead is more than a simple stroll. It's a journey through time where knowledge flutters like dappled sunlight. Each step forward is a step back into history, into a world where nature's wisdom is revered and forgotten. Wonders await rediscovery. There's a tranquility in knowing that for centuries, these plants have been companions to healers and wise folk their leaves and roots lending strength to those who understand their language. But keep a respectful awareness. You probably won't survive this discovery unharmed if you miss the importance of respect in these interactions. Nature demands humility and patience. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Pop into the comments to share where in the world you are tuning in from and what time it is there. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You find yourself drawn to an area where the grass grows lush and the air feels slightly cooler, reminding you of how indigenous peoples discovered medicinal uses by understanding the terrain and the time of year certain plants flourished. They remembered every plant's use, its spirit, its taste, its timing. The herbal archives of yesteryear continue to thrive in the memories and practices of present-day healers. Imagine yourself amongst the healers, wielding both medicine and magic. One historical figure that comes to mind is the ancient Greek physician Hippocrates, often called the father of medicine, who famously used plants for healing 2.5 millennia ago. He believed in the body's natural healing process and prescribed concoctions made from herbs, like willow bark precursor to modern aspirin. In contrast, historical texts reveal the role of wormwood in ancient Egypt, where it was revered not only for its medicinal properties, but also for spiritual rituals. Its peculiar bitterness was thought to ward off evil spirits, and historians still debate whether its purpose was more protective than medicinal. Consider the duality of these practices as you wander through this botanical tapestry. Picture the monks of medieval Europe whose secluded gardens bloomed with lavender, thyme, and fennel. Their cures were documented in manuscripts that were as much art as they were science, blending religious piety with practical health care. An unusual but fascinating element of your exploration is learning how garlic was employed not just to bolster health, but as a potent charm against sinister forces. The Roman soldiers consumed it for strength and immunity, while its scent was believed to repel malevolent creatures, a historical nod to its legendary use against vampires much later. As you step further, a gentle breeze carries the scent of sage, and you find yourself enveloped in its calming embrace. Sage has long been appreciated not just for its culinary contributions, but for its spiritual significance in various cultures, used in cleansing and protection ceremonies. Its soft, silvery leaves tell a story that transcends mere seasoning, weaving hints of the mystical into the mundane. Yet beneath the serene exterior of this herbal walk, question marks linger like the misty eddies across a riverbank. Historians still debate whether certain documented prescriptions were practiced regularly or merely theoretical, outlined with the flourish of herbalists, determined to leave their mark on the annals of history. The lore of these plants is illuminated further by quirks and oddities. Take mandrake, famous for its humanoid roots, which according to folklore scream when yanked from the earth, a belief that ventured so deep into the realm of myth, it inspired accounts and warnings across centuries. Each unexpected detail tethers you closer to an understanding, a connection across time, holding hands with history's mysteries while cradling its truths. You walk softly through these pages of the past and feel them turn beneath your feet, each one echoing a whispered story, a patient teaching, and a gentle magic that's as much for the soul as it is for the body. Pay heed to your surroundings. Feel the earth's heartbeat and breathe in its ancient stories, knowing this is more than a tale of old. It's a reminder of the myriad ways humanity has always sought to understand and harness the power of nature, stitching magic and medicine into the fabric of our shared existence. By following the subtle hints left behind by animals, you navigate the dense forest paths that link one village to the next. It's a quiet journey beneath towering trees whose ancient forms create a canopy above, casting dappled sunlight onto the soft earth. Here in these woods, every sound feels magnified, the rustling of leaves, the occasional snap of a twig beneath your feet. You rely on your keen sense of observation to guide your way, interpreting each mark and indentation in the earth as a guidepost. A series of hoof prints suggest a deer has recently passed this way, perhaps leading you toward the clearings where villages often reside. Despite the seeming remoteness of your path, you find a curious kind of company in the tracks of forest creatures. Each tells a story, the deep marks of a boar rooting for food, the delicate prints of rabbits weaving through underbrush. These are the signs that connect them, and now you, to the land. It's a skill that has been honed over generations, traditionally passed down in hushed tones by elders around flickering fires. History tells us that many cultures, from Native American tribes to indigenous communities worldwide, have mastered the art of tracking, using it as a means to navigate and survive. Today, you wonder if you'll have to embrace the resilience of those early trackers, especially when you stumble across a particularly baffling series of prints. The prints crisscross erratically, and historians still debate whether it was simply a playful pair of foxes or something more cunning like a pack of wolves on the hunt. The path increasingly challenges your ability to decipher its cryptic messages, yet it rewards you with an intimate understanding of this lively woodland sphere, a place where human ingenuity coexists with nature's untamed spirit. The midday sun filters through the trees, a reminder of time's passage as you continue your slow progress. Ahead lies a shallow stream gurgling over stones, washed smooth by countless seasons. It's a simple but vital component of this forest's lifeblood, feeding the needs of those dwelling within its boundaries. Crossing it, you notice something surprising, a perfectly round pebble gleaming among the others. You pick it up, contemplating its oddness. Some say round pebbles in places like this were brought by ancient traders who ventured through these woods, carrying with them tales of distant lands. The path takes you deeper into the embrace of the forest, where the air grows cooler, and the scents of damp earth and pine mingle. Occasionally you pause to rest against a tree, feeling the rough bark beneath your fingertips. It is in these pauses that the forest seems to inhale, the creatures within it carrying on with their lives, oblivious to your quiet intrusions. time drifts languidly, much like the way ancient travelers might have experienced it, a gentle awakening of the senses in tune with these thriving surroundings. As evening nears, you finally emerge into a clearing where the village awaits, nestled like a secret within the vastness of the forest. Here, tracks and trails converge, just as you imagined, leading you safely, without harm, to a single tree, showing the wisdom of those who walked these paths long before you. The villagers greet you warmly, intrigued by tales of your journey and curious discoveries. Over a simple meal shared by the glow of the setting sun, you recount meeting the mysterious criss-crossed prince, and the villagers nod knowingly, suggesting the work of mischievous foxes often sighted nearby. Stories flow easily here, weaving a tapestry of past adventures, both real and imagined. Shadows lengthen as night envelopes the village, planting a sense of tranquility that blankets the day's exertions. As you settle down for the night, your thoughts are lulled by the forest's gentle hum, a reminder of the journey awaiting you tomorrow, where more secretive paths might reveal the unexpected. With the forest's stories weaving through your mind, you drift into the embrace of sleep, becoming part of this endless cycle that connects villages through the language of the wild. You approach the hollow logs nestled at the edge of the verdant forest, a place where time seems to slow down, and whispers of the past brush against your ears like a gentle breeze. The sunlight filters through the canopy above, creating dancing patches of warmth upon the ground. As you walk, the scent of wild flowers and honey fills the air, inviting you to journey deeper into the story that unfolds here. These logs are more than simple structures. They're sanctuaries for the bees that dwell within. You've learned from your elders that their honey holds a sacred and medicinal power revered throughout the ages. Ancient civilizations across the world, from the Egyptians to the Greeks, cherish this golden nectar not just as food, but as an elixir of life and health. You can almost hear the bees' gentle hum as you get closer, a lullaby that has echoed through centuries. Tradition guides you to gather the honey with care. You prepare yourself not just with the tools of the trade, but with a humble heart. The act of collecting this honey is a ritual requiring reverence and respect for the tiny creatures that create it. As you approach, you offer a silent prayer, a customary practice passed down through generations, asking permission from the bees and acknowledging their vital role in the cycle of life. Historians still debate whether the first humans intentionally began keeping bees or stumbled upon it by accident, perhaps following the sweet scent of honey to a natural hive. Regardless, over time, they discovered that hollow logs made near-perfect homes for bees, protecting them from predators and weather. This innovative solution has been a cornerstone of beekeeping, a practice that not only sustained diets, but also connected communities through the shared blessings of these busy pollinators. Glancing around, you notice the unexpected small offerings placed near the logs, tokens of gratitude from those who have also come to harvest the honey. There's an intricately carved wooden spoon, a symbol of sharing and sustenance, and a cluster of wildflowers laid gently like an ode to the earth's beauty. Such gestures add to the sanctity of this place, acknowledging the intertwined relationship between humans and nature. As you begin your task, memories of stories told around the fire come to mind. They spoke of how bees were believed to be messengers of the gods, flying effortlessly between realms, much like dreams flitting through a sleepy mind. Their honey thus was not just nourishment, but a touch of the divine brought into the mortal world. Handling the honeycombs demands patience and a steady hand. The amber liquid slowly drips, a mesmerizing sight that holds the promise of sweetness and energy. Could this be why ancient athletes consumed honey for stamina before their games, attributing their vigor to something almost magical? It seemed plausible that such a simple gift from the bees could hold so much power. Placing the honey carefully into your collection bowl, you reflect on the delicate balance of this practice. It's not just the honey you're taking, but the understanding that with each harvest there's a promise of care and sustainability. You remember a tale from not so long ago of how entire colonies vanished in what was called colony collapse disorder. Experts pondered its causes: pesticides, habitat loss, climate change, perhaps all of these intertwined. It serves as a sobering reminder of nature's fragility and our role in protecting it. Yet here amongst the hollows, life continues to thrive, anchored by traditions that cherish rather than exploit. The bees seem to dance around you, unfazed by your presence, communicating amongst themselves in a language of wiggles and waves, known as the waggle dance. A fascinating display of their complex social structure. As you finish collecting and securing the golden syrup, there's a sense of fulfillment. The task isn't just work. It's a bridge to the past, a touchstone that keeps alive stories and rituals older than any written record. You take a moment to admire the sunlight glistening on the honey, now pooled in your container, an ancient symbol of prosperity and healing. With a nod of gratitude to the buzzing workers and the whispering trees, you step back from the logs. It's time to make your way back, guided by the sun, now gently reclining toward the horizon. You're reminded of the continuity of these practices, how tonight's gathering will feed into tomorrow's lore, and how each drop of honey is part of a larger tapestry woven by the stories passed from one generation to the next. In your hands, the honey glows, not just as a substance of sweetness, but as a symbol of the sacred connection between lush earth and azure sky. You carry it carefully, knowing that once you return, it will be shared just as it has been shared since before time was counted, not only as sustenance, but as a bond, a reminder of the bees' endless labors and the beauty of living in harmony with the world around you. Your journey takes you back thousands of years, nestled in a land cradled by mountains and hugged by the ocean. Here in this ripe cradle of civilization, you find yourself marveling at a stunning feat of human ingenuity. The ancient ones, your forebears, were masters of survival and adaptation, drawing upon the gifts of the earth with such grace and subtlety that their knowledge weaves through time to find its way to you in whispers, carried on the evening breeze. You find yourself standing at the edge of a clear spring, its waters shimmering beneath the moonlight. Nearby, a pile of limestone rocks sits, each one alive, with the stories of eons gone by. Your ancestors knew the secrets embedded in those stones. They understood that water, though seemingly clean, was often a mischievous carrier of unseen dangers. Dangers you probably wouldn't survive if left unchecked. Limestone became their ally, its porous nature perfect for trapping impurities, purifying water with patience and silence. As you gently run your fingers over the textured surface of a rock, you can almost feel the passage of time, hear the echo of ancient voices recounting tales of trial and error, triumphs and failures. In the midst of their primitive villages, your ancestors created rudimentary filtration systems. Layers of limestone, gravel, and sand were carefully constructed, transforming dubious water into a life-giving elixir. Historians still debate whether this knowledge came by chance or experimentation, but there is no denying the brilliance of their endeavor. As you drift along the narrative, the sensation of shifting sand underfoot draws your attention to a small demonstration, perhaps conducted by a village elder. Its simplicity and elegance take hold of your imagination. Water trickles down through the layers, visible impurities captured by gravel, dissolved matter absorbed by limestone. It emerges clearer and more inviting, startling in its transformation. Surprisingly, those ancient engineers didn't stop there. They enhanced their systems with charcoal from fire pits, discovering through happenstance, or perhaps sheer determination, that it absorbed what the stones could not. These insights were born out of necessity. Yes, but also out of an acute observation of nature's rhythms, which you can't help but admire. Your ancestors' methodical innovations reflect a deep respect for their environment. Water purification was not just a technical marvel, but a way of harmonizing with the earth. Sitting by a communal hearth, surrounded by kin, the nocturnal symphonies of the wild envelop you. There's a comforting continuity in these shared stories of survival, a family history written not in ink but in clay and stone, wind and water. As you lean back and look up to the stars, the same stars that guided those before you, you feel connected, not just to the past, but to the web of life they nurtured with such care and ingenuity. With each breath, the boundaries of time blur, and the peaceful sigh of the night carries you onward, ever closer to dreams tethered by the weight of ages and the hope of those who came before. As you venture deeper into the mystical forest where secrets of ancient times await your discovery, your senses become your guide. The air feels thick with stories, each breeze carrying a whisper of wisdom from ages long past. You wander beneath towering canopies, emerald leaves fluttering like banners of resilience. Suddenly your gaze lifts to an unusual sight. High in the trees, a bundle tightly embraced by nature's hands. Your natural curiosity bids you closer, your eyes straining against the shifting sunlight that dapples the forest floor. What could possibly be nestled so lovingly amidst those fragrant leaves? It's up there, swaying gently as if dancing with the rustling branches. A shiver of intrigue runs down your spine as you remember tales of the ancients who once thrived in harmony with the earth. The past comes alive as you stand there, grounding you in a reality that seems both distant and intimately yours. It's hard to ignore the thrill that comes with understanding the ingenuity behind this leafy disguise, a strategy developed by those who mastered their world with subtle magic. They wrapped their precious items in fragrant leaves, camouflaging them from creatures who would otherwise rely on scent to hunt or pilfer. It's a clever trick, a homage to ingenuity. As you ponder this ingenuity, you can't help but think of the ancient civilizations that harness this art. You recall how in the towering Andes, the Incas once devised similar methods to protect their valuables. You remember reading how they used specific leaves like those of the coca plant, not just to conceal but to preserve. It's as though the rustling leaves above you echo the distant reverberations of Incan chasquis, those legendary runners who traversed vast distances, leaving trails of stories and traditions. And yet there's always more to the story, isn't there? Some historians are still debating whether this meticulous leaf wrapping was truly for concealment, or rather a ceremonial practice, an offering to nature to ensure balance and prosperity. There's an air of mystery enveloping this practice, an ineffable quality that makes each rustle seem like an ancient code waiting to be deciphered. The sun begins its descent, casting longer shadows that whisper promises of new tales. You, however, feel tethered to this moment, anchored by a reality that feels like a shared dream. What were they hiding? Precious herbs, sacred relics, or perhaps something as simple yet invaluable as seeds, symbols of life's endless cycle. In this pause, you reflect on how history isn't just a recount of victories and conquests, but also of small acts of wisdom and clarity. Lessons lie not just in grandiose texts, but in the fine details, just like those leaves up high, holding little secrets against the sky. It's a magical thing, how even now people around the world continue to borrow from these ancient practices, perhaps unknowingly. Modern gardening enthusiasts mimic this technique, wrapping their plants in fragrant herbs to ward off insects, a nod to the past that resonates through time. You stand there, a silent observer to history's dialogue, wrapped in the comforting thought that maybe, just maybe, the past never really fades, but instead morphs and adapts. Each of you seekers in your own right find a link connecting you to those who came before. Even if historians can't agree on all the details, these leaf-wrapped treasures keep the conversation alive, urging us to keep searching, keep listening. The forest around you, with all its sounds and secrets, has now transformed into a sanctuary. Each leaf and branch seems to be a page right off history's unwritten manuscript, encouraging you to explore further and appreciate the subtle art of concealment as life, in all its splendor and challenge, continues to rise and fall like the gentle tide under a crescent sky. You set out on the path just as the whispered promises of dawn begin to thread through the edges of the sky. A breeze brushes lightly against your cheek, its chill suggesting northward origins. As you walk, the path beneath your feet is firm and dry, every step knocking fine dust from the cobbles, a testament to the northern wind's gift of clarity and dryness. It's a peculiar thing, how the wind can dictate the nature of your journey. not so unlike in history, where winds have quite literally changed the course of events. Take, for example, the tale of the Armada of 1588. The mighty Spanish fleet, poised to invade England, found its destiny altered by the ferocity of the weather winds, tearing through their sails, scattering the once mighty ships like leaves before a storm. To be honest, those sailors were unlikely to find much comfort in this congruence of meteorology and fate. As your path curves, you find yourself considering how the eastward winds might have turned today's walk into a slippery adventure. Had the breeze shifted and gathered clouds from the horizon, your journey would be mired in muck and uncertainty. Ancestors knew these things well, their livelihoods often dependent on such signs. It's an endearing thought to realize how much importance was placed upon where the winds came from and the gifts or curses they might carry. Funny how every turn of weather can carry within it an echo of the past, a reminder of small but monumental shifts. In discussions of the Armada, historians still debate whether it was purely the weather or the skills of Sir Francis Drake contributing more decisively to the victory. Uncertainty drapes like a mist over many a historical fact, much like the very clouds that might have turned today into a rainy trudge. The dawn stretches out its fingers more fully now, spreading warmth and light across the landscape. The sun climbs higher behind you, casting long shadows ahead. Despite the mysteries that dance upon the air and in the annals of history, there's a brightness here that's reassuring. It reflects a promise of endless continuation, much like your journey one step, followed by another guided by the unseen but ever felt breath of the wind. It's the same sun that has risen over countless generations, casting light on the endeavors of humanity, bearing witness to both glorious triumphs and quiet everyday struggles. And just as the sun must rise, so too must you continue ever dependent on the whims of wind and weather, your journey stitched into the larger tapestry of time, where myth and nature are interwoven like a subtle, timeless dance. As you continue, you can't help but wonder what stories those trails could tell if they could speak stories carried across ages in every grain of dirt and shift of dust. Maybe in a sense you're a part of those stories now, creating history as you tread along this path defined by the skies above. Where the moss grows thickest and the trees curve toward the light, these signs are as familiar to you as your own reflection. It's intriguing to consider how the ancients, those long before streetlights and maps, relied entirely on nature's subtle hints to find their way. Imagine you are in such a forest where the whispering of leaves creates a symphony and shafts of sunlight break through the canopy, like nature's soft spotlight guiding your path. You glide along this verdant trail, feeling the gentle earth beneath your feet, the rhythm of your own breath synchronizing with the pulse of the forest. Here, each patch of moss is a storyteller, weaving tales about the north-facing slopes they've claimed. The thicker the carpet, the more assured you are of your direction. It's fascinating, isn't it, that something so simple has helped guide travelers and explorers for centuries, just as the Viking warriors of old might have used similar signs when navigating the dense forests of Scandinavia. But here's the twist. Historians still debate whether the Vikings relied more on sunstones or bird flight patterns during their nautical explorations. The moss, perhaps a trusted companion on land. The sun above is a patient artist painting textures and hues as it filters through leaves overhead. You notice how the trees bend and bow, reaching desperately for light, a reminder of their perpetual quest for survival. It makes you wonder about your own life and the unexpected bends and curves it's taken. Each growth ring within these trees is a chapter of resilience, a testament to storms weathered and calm days basked in. Your heartbeat seems to echo the forest's timeless rhythm, each step an echo in this tranquil theater of nature. When you pause, there's a whisper on the wind, a blend of ancient secrets and mysteries yet unsolved. It's like those nature tales your grandparents might have whispered in hushed tones, weaving intricate details of trees so alive they possessed souls of their own. And amid this leafy theater, you ponder historical whisperings like the tales of druids in ancient Britain who were said to commune with trees, drawing wisdom and prophecy from their gnarled boughs. Isn't that an enchanting thought? Yet what rituals they performed remain a foggy mystery, shrouded in the academic uncertainty that leaves room for imagination. You look skyward, appreciating the effortless dance of leaves and sky. Here in this place where man is only a guest, the minutiae of daily life seem to dissipate. It's a common thread you find when delving into history, how nature remains a haven, a sanctuary for contemplation. Moments like these feed the soul, grounding you in the present, even as they send your thoughts spiraling through time. Among the flora, you notice a patch of sunlight, highlighting a field of tiny white flowers. These, you recall, are akin to the gillyflowers cultivated in medieval gardens, renowned not just for their grace, but their medicinal properties too. A surprising detail that would intrigue even the most dedicated historians. Monks in their quiet abbeys might have plucked such blossoms, brewing them into teas or tinctures, healing what ailed them amidst chants and quiet devotion. You find yourself cushioned by curiosity, following your whims like an intrepid explorer of ideas. The trail of thoughts is as twisted and fascinating as this winding forest path. You linger on a recent academic conversation. Did the insight of these monks stem from ancient texts, or was their knowledge an intuitive gift from the earth itself? Perhaps more revealing than theories or debates are the personal narratives tucked into the folds of history, those shared and whispered around hearths, much like ours tonight. You can almost hear the crackle of logs, the warmth radiating out as your mind journeys through forests of yore, contemplative and comforted by this timeless connection with the past. So as the trees curve toward the sun, reaching out like old hands cradling light, you are reminded to follow their lead, persevere, grow, and warm yourself in the day's bright promise. Here in this embrace of green and golden light, nature offers her gifts freely, a gentle invitation to read her signs, and perhaps to find yourself anew among them. As you drift silently through the ancient streets, the cobblestones beneath your feet remain undisturbed. No echo accompanies your steps. You glide more than walk, like a whisper of mist curling through the early morning air. It's an odd sensation, this complete lack of physical impact. You recall the story of how ninjas in feudal Japan moved silently, often using unique footwear that dispersed their weight or techniques in walking that made them nearly invisible to the ear. But unlike those adept practitioners of stealth who left the faintest traces, you leave no marks, as if not only your presence, but your very existence is ephemeral. The stars above in their unending vigil twinkle softly as though sharing secrets amongst themselves, and you ponder their thoughts. Perhaps they remember the grand past, the eras when great civilizations rose and fell, cyclical in nature, like the tides pulled by the grand, watchful moon. Some stories suggest that the stars guided wise travelers of bygone days, offering a celestial map through vast uncharted seas. Historians still debate whether the ancient Polynesians used a sophisticated understanding of astronomy to navigate their canoes across vast ocean distances. Did their seafarers converse with the stars, leaving no path behind except an invisible trail of knowledge? Tonight you feel akin to those master navigators lost in the beauty of the cosmic dance above. But your journey is not by sea. It's through time. Each place you pass tells a story older than anyone you know, whispered in the wind that brushes by without resistance. You imagine ancient structures now, just fond dreams in the earth, once stood proudly under this same sky. Archaeologists occasionally unearth remnants, hinting at grandiose lives lived in what are now desolate arenas. Sometimes they uncover statuettes, figurines bearing enigmatic inscriptions, tokens perhaps of religious reverence or historical tale. Yet each find brings more questions than answers. Was this a god or merely a celebrated hero? In the distance, the silhouette of an imposing edifice catches your eye. Its contours familiar, yet still shrouded in shadowy mystery. It's like a ghost of history, beckoning you closer, urging you to unearth its secrets without disturbing its slumber. The walls seem to breathe tales of grandeur and whispered plots exchanged by candlelight, their voices hushed by centuries of silence. You step nearer, careful and measured, feeling a connection with those who expertly blended into their surroundings, nobles, evading enemies or spies, slipping through courtly intrigues. A soft breeze curves around you, bearing a fragrance reminiscent of old parchment and aged timber libraries, loved by time. Perhaps you recall the famed Library of Alexandria, one of the greatest centers of learning in the ancient world. While it housed a wealth of knowledge, it also seemed to fall to fate's whim too easily. Fires and neglect leaving behind only whispered memories of its existence. Historians and romantics alike muse on the immense loss, imagining what wonders of intellect were forever obscured by its tragic end. Yet as you wander like an unnoticed shadow, it occurs to you that history sometimes shares itself more openly than we dream, though unveiled not through might, but through the subtler language of patience and persistence. You become aware that each stone you bypass holds the potential for revelation. Each rustle of leaves in the gardens could be a chapter's end commencing anew. And in this silent passage, your mind drifts to thoughts of people long forgotten. You see them now as specters moving about their daily lives, unaware of their eventual roles in stories recounted by future generations. Did they realize the impactful nature of their simplest actions? It's unlikely. Yet in this magical moment, you bypass them unhindered, a ghost. Among ghosts leaving no trace they can identify, yet somehow feeling inherently part of their world. You suppress a soft chuckle, realizing the absurdity and yet the truth in the notion. As in life, we sometimes pass through chapters without fully leaving our mark, focusing instead on the experience, on simply being. Like the stars that have remained a silent presence over millennia, your journey reveals itself to be less about arrival and more about the journey itself, an unending tapestry woven quietly through time. Without realizing, you've crossed into another age where different people lay harmoniously juxtaposed across fragmented epochs. Would they recognize the things we now take for granted? Probably not, and that's just fine. Perhaps there's a gentle wisdom in their ignorance, something peacefully nostalgic, yet full of possibility waiting to be discovered, like new land on the horizon. Amidst these reflections, dawn approaches, casting a soft, mellow glow over everything you see. In the gentle morning light, you find comfort in knowing the journey is unbroken, and you may continue to move like mist, unseen and untraced. It is an invitation to ponder, to wonder without constraint, to embrace the beauty of moments unmarked by the footprints or echoes we often deem necessary for permanence. So you carry on cloaked in serenity, and for tonight, that's exactly where you need to be, between the silence and the stars, halfway between a dream and history itself. With the morning sun filtering softly through the canopy, the gentle chirping of birds stirs you from slumber. The forest around you feels alive, each leaf and branch whispering secrets carried by the cool breeze. The scent of earth is calming, grounding you in the present moment as you rise to your feet. Guided by instinct, you wander deeper into the woods. As you move, the sounds of water greet you, leading you towards a babbling stream. Along its banks, stones are scattered, glistening under the sun's shy rays. A sense of reverence overcomes you, the kind you might not understand, but feel deeply in your bones. Under the quiet canopy of branches and leaves, legends tell that each element here, whether stone, stream, or tree, holds a spirit. This lore isn't confined to mere myth. In cultures around the world, people have long believed in the animistic nature of the world. Notably, some Native American tribes hold that everything in nature shares kinship and should be approached with respect. They have a tradition of asking permission from these natural elements before using them, a practice you briefly consider as you sit beside the stream. It's a curious thought, this idea of speaking to the rocks or whispering to the streams. You might chuckle, recalling how historians still debate whether these beliefs were widespread or confined to isolated groups. Nonetheless, the old tales echo through time, reminding you to pause, to respect the spirited world of nature. There's an old oak tree nearby, its roots digging deep into the ancient soil, and you wonder if it's as wise as it seems. For centuries, trees have played significant roles in people's lives. Did you know that oaks were worshipped by the Celts, who considered them sacred? This tree, with its thick branches and sturdy trunk, may well carry memories of long-forgotten days. Walking further, your foot catches on a moss-covered rock, nearly sending you sprawling. You remember the stories, how mischievous earth spirits might take playful revenge if their stones are disturbed. Glancing back at the rock, you whisper a soft apology just in case. The stream continues to sing its timeless song, a melody crafted over ages. You've read about how some cultures believe streams guide spirits or carry messages from one world to the next. There's a sense of serenity here, a peacefulness that washes over you like the stream's gentle waves. It's a space where historians like to conjecture about realities they cannot fully prove, a dance between evidence and imagination. The newfound silence envelopes you as you venture onward deeper into the heart of the forest. Every rustle of leaves and every chirp of birds becomes your companion, a gentle acknowledgement of the life around you. With every step you drift further from the whispers of civilization and closer to the raw, simple beauty of nature. You can't help but feel a unique connection here, as though being watched over by this benevolent force. Maybe it's just a trick of the mind, or maybe there truly is more to these stones and trees than meets the eye. As your thoughts meander, like the stream beside you, you are reminded of the wisdom of the ancients, those who saw the world with wonder and spoke to it, believing that it listened back. This forest, with its intricate dance of shadows and light, invites a quiet contemplation. You feel a gentle prodding at the edges of your mind. Think of the past, present, and future as existing together in harmony. Everything here serves its purpose, maintains its place in the cycle of life, just as you do. There's wisdom in the smallest of things, if you only choose to see it. Moving forward, you respect every detail, every leaf and stone, knowing now that they might harbor secrets not meant for ears but for hearts. The air grows cooler as the day grows older, its temperature mirroring the calmness in your spirit. As you continue through the woods, the tales of old accompany you, their voices blending seamlessly with the rustling wind. You pause once more, sensing a shift in the energy around you. The sound of the breeze is softer now, as though encouraging you to listen more closely. The forest seems to offer a gentle reminder that you are never truly alone, but part of a greater whole. In this harmonious solitude, there's comfort to be found. The narratives born from these woods, from the living and breathing elements of nature, offer a profound solace that transcends time. Your journey through the forest becomes not just a walk, but a lesson. On some level, you start to understand the ways of those who came before, seeking balance and reverence in every step taken upon this earth. Finally, with a smile and a lighter heart, you turn back the way you came. Each step homeward is a promise to carry the insights of this gentle place with you, remembering to speak the silent language of respect and wonder to the world around you. As shadows begin to lengthen, the forest whispers its own goodbyes, leaving you with the quiet knowledge that you are always welcome to return and uncover yet another layer of its enduring mystery. You find yourself walking softly beneath a canopy of whispering leaves, where the air is perfumed with the richness of earth and green things growing. Your eyes flit about vigilant for both the beauty and danger the forest conceals. As you meander along a narrow trail, you spot an intriguing sight, a mound bustling with tiny industrious beings, the eternal architects of the wild. These are not just any ants. These are the leaf-cutter ants, celebrated not only for their industry, but for the remarkable nests. They build homes that stretch astonishing distances beneath the ground. Some local lore, passed through generations, whispers of its culinary value. A bite of the orange-hued globes of their eggs is said to carry an unexpected burst of tangy flavor, which might have delighted many, like a crisp orchard apple shared with strangers on a sunlit afternoon. Yet a word of caution floats your way. Feasting might be risky, as historians still debate whether these nests sometimes harbor the wrath of protective swarms waiting to defend their unseen realms. Under the forest's emerald lights, your path weaves closer to an area caressed by dappled sunlight, the perfect dwelling for the more cautious creatures of this habitat. You remember tales of the snake holes, dangerous indeed if you stumble upon them unaware. Yet nestled near these silent earth tunnels are the trails that meander like gentle whispers, around them safe passages, carved by the watchers of nature, long before paved roads charted human progress. Stepping quietly, you feel the cool earth mold around your feet, the reassurance of the path, silent guide as you keep the snake holes to your periphery, like shadows that belong to another world. Onward the shadows lengthen into the twilight of your journey. You find yourself drawn by an unusual scent, a fragrance that calls to something ancient within you. Nestled in a small glade is a flower unlike any you've seen, a bloom so luminous it seems almost to reflect the light of a hidden moon tender and inwardly folded in the daylight's gaze. The lunar orchid, a plant that unfurls only when the full moon graces the sky, its existence tying it to the celestial dance above, just as the tides answer a call you cannot hear. As you approach, a breeze carries more than the intoxication of its scent. It brings a whisper and echo from those who walked these paths before you. It is said this flower holds curative powers that heal what seems broken, though science stays yet uncommitted to give definite credibility to such claims. Stories tell of ancient explorers using these blooms to cure ailments of the body and soul. And while many tales abound, your tether to the flower remains a lingering mystery of its magic, waiting for the moments only you can experience when beneath a glowing moon. And so, as the night wraps around you like a comforting cloak, the wisdom of the ancients settles upon your shoulders. These stories, the taste of curious nests, the secrets of safe paths, and the moon-touched blossoms, they promise to endure long after your footsteps fade. This knowledge becomes part of you, woven into your thoughts, as surely as the forest is tied to the soil beneath you. With each step, your pace becomes slower, more measured. The world around you seems to breathe in time with your own slow, deliberate rhythm. The forest softens around you, the dark silhouette of trees against the moonlit sky, feeling more like familiar watchers than imposing giants. Every rustle of leaf and distant chirrup wraps you deeper in the serene hush of the night. Feel the stillness expand within you, each breath deep and steady, resonating with the quiet hum of the world around you. The story, like the night, envelops you in comfort. Here, in this place of timeless wonder, you find rest, not just for the body, but for the soul. Remember, the wisdom passed down through ages is your companion, a friend guiding you with soft words and gentle nudges. There's no need to rush. Let the journey unfold, as it will at its own pace, like the unhurried turn of the world beneath the stars. Close your eyes now. Allow them to drift shut like leaves settling on a still pond. The stories will remain echoing softly as you slip into dreams, carrying you forward into the landscapes of imagination. Those whispers of ancient wisdom will wrap you tenderly, assuring you that the tales, much like dreams, never truly end. They only wander into new beginnings, waiting to be rediscovered. Gently, you feel your consciousness begin to wane, fading seamlessly into the relaxation of rest. There is peace knowing the forest remains, keeps its secrets and stories for you. Here you are safe here, you are known, and as you surrender to sleep, those stories continue guiding you to where the waking world can no longer follow.